Miss South Africa, Joan Madibeng, in partnership with the city of Johannesburg, celebrated Women's Month by honouring women for their economic and social contributions.
I started this event in 2011 with the aim to gather women in one room and really to discuss social ills that are affecting all of us, from the youth all the way up to us as women. Tonight we look back at the 1956 Women's March. I think it plays such a significant role in terms of what we have achieved today as women, the freedom that we have today as women. And so today my theme is really just focusing on saying we're looking back on yesterday, we are celebrating the achievements today, and what to look forward to tomorrow. So that's basically my focus, and I think the objective is really just to ensure that when women are united in one common cause, we can move our country forward.
The city's involvement, we partnered with them so that we could build a relationship with social cohesion with all sectors of society, including women, youth, the disabled. And I think our involvement is really to celebrate women, the successes of women, the achievements of women in the past 60 years. Women, we've come a long way. Women have fought for parity, women have fought for recognition, and although we're taking baby steps in that regard, to us it's still a celebration of life and of women.
The event aims to instill the idea that women are the real architects of society.
Women are just taking center stage, and they're standing in the spotlight, and they are confident and they are tenacious. They are the nurturers, but they're also the storytellers. They're the mothers, but now they're also the CEOs, the academics, the heroes, the heroines. So women are taking their place throughout the world. I think that the whole vibe around the world is starting to recognize that women are the equal of, possibly even better than men, in terms of being presidents, world leaders, CEOs of international companies. Maybe because of our sixth sense, our intuition, that allows us to be compassionate as well as just aggressive, hard-nosed businessmen. Sorry, men, but I hate to generalize, but it is true. We women do bring in that extra dimension.
As women, we are called to change the atmosphere in whatever little way, whether it's in the home, whether it's in the work environment. Actually, what it basically means is that any situation that you occupy as a woman, you have the ability to influence. So you can choose how significant you'd like to influence. And actually, even when you're not doing anything, you're influencing by not doing anything. So we are the real builders of communities. We are makers of homes, and whatever environment we find ourselves in, if we bring ourselves to it, we have the ability to influence that space.
Now we are in a time where women are being recognized first and foremost. Women are taking charge economically as well. And women are builders, women are having a firm hand now in the economy, in the business world, And it's time that we celebrated them, and it's time that we acknowledge that their opinion matters. It's time that we acknowledge that without women, we wouldn't even be having such powerful communities. We wouldn't even be having such powerful nations. We must acknowledge that they're the forefront, they're the fighters, of our communities and our economies as well.
The city and the province run a number of programs and strategies to develop and empower women, such as preferential procurement and small business support.
I think for education, skills development, getting involved in skills training, getting involved in developments across the city. We see a lot of women being entrepreneurs, something that we've not seen before. We've seen women enter into management and being directors on boards. And I think even at the city's level, from a board perspective, we've got quite a number of entities. We've got about 11 entities, and we've got quite a few women sitting on the boards as directors. But for me, the experience is seeing women enter the property space, which is, I manage one of the property entities of the city, so it's good to see women. A small scale still, but it's good to see us entering that property space. From a support point of view, there's business support that we provide women. especially those women that want to grow their own business. There's social support that we give them. There's training, especially from a digital point of view. There's a lot of training that happens. So we're getting women involved in whatever way we can to grow them as entrepreneurs, as economic entrepreneurs, as social entrepreneurs.
Despite government support, women still continue to face serious challenges economically and socially.
The one that stands out for me at the moment is women and children abuse. I think that comes up a lot in terms of how does one deal with a situation like this. And I think we start in our families. We need to start nurturing and mentoring our young girls to assure them that they are enough just the way they are, that they don't need blessers in their lives, that they can be independent, they don't need to rely on anyone else for financial stability. And of course, the lack of employment for the youth, unemployment plays a key role in some of the social ills that we go through.
For the women of Johannesburg, one of the most advanced economies in Africa, the future looks bright.
In terms of the highlights, I think just being able to reward great work, I think that makes me so happy to be able to say to someone, you have done such great work and here's a token of appreciation for the good work that you do. Because for me, I'm saying once we do that, they go back to their own communities to continue to inspire change, and that's exactly what we need. We need ordinary women doing extraordinary things to be able to take Africa forward.
I'd like to see us women playing a bigger role. At the moment, if you look at the stats, there's still an imbalance when it comes to women empowerment. And I think if we adhere to the principles of the Sustainable Development Goals and support those initiatives so that by 2030 you have women 50-50 women parity across the board, across all spheres of the economy.
The Joburg Art Fair kicks off in Sandton next week, bringing to the spotlight works of art from across the continent.
This is our 9th edition this year, and it's a very exciting edition because it's really larger than most of the fairs that have come before. We've gone from 37 exhibitors in 2014 to 80 exhibitors this year. The focus of this year's event is on East Africa. So that's looking at galleries, artists, art platforms from Uganda, Kenya, Somalia, Sudan, Ethiopia. It's a really large focus on that region this year. The featured artist is Wangechi Mutu, who's a Kenyan artist who's based in America.
The art fair has evolved so much, considering that it was started 9 years ago as a small business when there was this gap in the market, that you had a group of South African collectors who were collecting art, and then you had artists who were making art but didn't really have a platform where they could come converge together, and also a platform that could bring in new audiences that were starting to be interested in art. So if you look at the 9 years, it has evolved so much. The new collectors that have come on board, but also the art fair has created an amazing platform. I call it an economy that didn't actually exist, where artists could sell their works and galleries could showcase. So we're seeing quite a lot of interest now in African art when we believed in ourselves already 9 years ago. So it's really quite affirming to see that more and more of the international platforms are starting to appreciate African art. So we have evolved in the sense that we're very South Africa focused for a long time, which is really our base, Johannesburg, to becoming quite a Pan-African fair. You know, the previous years we had focuses on East Africa. Last year we had a very big focus on a South African artist who's really gone global, who's based in Germany. And this year our special featured artist is from Kenya, who is a top talent coming from South Africa, from East Africa. Kenya, living in the US. So the time is good now, you know, for us to take what we do to the next level.
African art in almost all forms existed long before history even began to be recorded. Yet although art has evolved on the continent in a globalized manner, the international public may still tend to view it differently to art produced in the Western world.
If you look around the world, it is true that art has always been here. in Africa. We are a very colorful continent. We are very diverse. All our art is so different from country to country. If you look at our focus on the East African practice and what we're bringing to the South African audience, it's very unique because that's not the practices that are South African or Sub-Saharan African practices. So I do think that the world has always looked down on African art, whilst we really had the talent. So I do think that part of the evolution is part of the recognition in the greater agenda of looking at finally recognizing that we're good at what we do, and we have talented artists now who some of them have learned this craft naturally and some of them have gone to schools to learn.
I think African art has had a sort of a difficult process of defining its identity. Often people talk about African art where you don't have other countries saying American art or English art. So it's very sort of boxed in that way, and that's something that we're trying to undo every year, is to try and internationalize African artists, to make them more accessible to the rest of the world, and I think that is really what one of our main focuses is.
Government and the private sector are beginning to present art as a lucrative business, supporting artists by providing opportunities for exposure and skills development.
Art fairs have a big role to play in that, because you can be represented by a gallery, but you also need to be represented globally. And that's what's fantastic about art fairs, is that they bring a really kind of international presence. We have, for example, many international curators coming from the US and from the UK and from the rest of Africa to our fair. So more and more, I would say, yes, next year will be our 10th year, our 10-year anniversary. And if you've watched the kind of growth of the development of the art fair, and the art industry in South Africa has impacted largely on that.
Johannesburg is often referred to as the gateway into Africa, making the city the perfect place for an international art fair.
It's really embedded within a city that is very culturally diverse with an African diaspora. There are many Africans who live in the city, and I think it's representative of where Africa is, that we should naturally be blending with each other anyway. So for us, it's really exciting. We're very excited to have the featured artist, Wangechi Mutu from East Africa, as well as all other artists that are coming through. There's some galleries that are coming also from Ghana. So it's a truly Pan-African art fair for the first time.